Cowbirds do not actually build their own nests. Instead, they sneak into host's nest when the parents are away to deposit their eggs, leaving the robins to handle all incubation and chick-rearing duties. While American robins are one of the few host species that typically recognize and eject these foreign eggs, the cowbirds often monitor the nests and may retaliate by destroying the robin's clutch if the parasitic egg is rejected, a behavior sometimes referred to as the mafia strategy. Hello everyone, good morning. I hope you're doing well today, and I hope your day is going great. Welcome to the Early Bird Weekly Podcast, where we talk about birds. I'm Ritiksha Satish Kumar, your host, and in today's episode, we're going to be continuing the facts about our American robin. So this is part 3 of the episode, and there are a few facts left which are worth mentioning about the American robin. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. We left off by saying that female American robins build amazing nests all by themselves. Now let's see what actually happens in their nests. This is a very surprising thing that happens pretty commonly with birds. So this is called brood parasitism. So brood parasitism is when another bird lays its egg in a completely different species of bird's nest and expects that bird to take care of its eggs and its hatchlings. This is a very sneaky way to kind of force an adoption, and in this case, female brown-headed cowbirds frequently lay their eggs in American robins' nests, and this is a part of their survival strategy called brood parasitism. It's a pretty confusing word. So cowbirds do not actually build their own nests. Instead, they sneak into host's nest when the parents are away to deposit their eggs, leaving the robins to handle all incubation and chick-rearing duties. While American robins are one of the few host species that typically recognize and eject these foreign eggs, the cowbirds often monitor the nests and may retaliate by destroying the robin's clutch if the parasitic egg is rejected, a behavior sometimes referred to as the mafia strategy. So cowbirds really do not like to relent. So if the American robin recognizes the cowbird egg and, gets it away from its nest, the cowbirds are going to use something called the mafia strategy. And basically what they do is destroy the American robin's clutch of eggs, which is very sad. I guess the American robins either have to kind of just pretend that they don't recognize the cowbird's eggs or lose their eggs. Anyways, now let's get more into the details of the eggs and the hatchlings, because they're pretty fascinating. So the female lays 3 to 5 light blue eggs and incubates them alone for about 14 days. The chicks are altricial. So this means they are hatched blind and naked, and their mother has to take care of them. The opposite of altricial chicks is precocial chicks, where they're not born blind, they have perfect eyesight, their feathers are all grown, and they can actually take care of themselves. They don't need parental care. So those kind of chicks are called precocial chicks. But in the American robin's case, we have altricial chicks, which means they do need parental care. While the chicks are still young, the mother broods them continuously. I need some water. When they are older, the mother will brood them only at night or during bad weather. The chicks leave the nest 2 weeks after hatching. However, they still follow their parents around, begging for food. It's interesting to see how the female only broods chicks during the night or bad weather. It's almost like she's training them to be independent as they grow up. The chicks also have something called a begging call that they sound when they're begging for food. So this is a very interesting thing that is unique for chicks. After leaving the nests, the fledglings are able to fly short distances, and it only takes a couple of weeks for them to be proficient at flying. So they're very fast learners. Moving into populations, this will be the last topic we're going to be covering today. So yeah, this is a pretty short episode, but I feel like I'm ready to move on to the next bird because I've been researching about these birds for the past week and pretty bored of them. So yeah, let's move on into populations. American robins are abundant and widespread throughout their range. However, they are vulnerable to pesticide poisoning, climate changes, severe weather, and predation. So they have a lot of threats. The American robins are classified as least concern, and their population is about 310 to 320 million, which is a good number. So nothing of concern about the population numbers, but they are vulnerable to various threats, as are many animals in this generation. Now we're going to learn something called ecological niche. It is just a specific role that each organism plays in the ecosystem. And in this case, the American robins actually control insect populations and they disperse the seeds of the fruits that they eat. They also serve as an important food source to local predators, including squirrels, snakes, crows, cats, foxes, dogs, raccoons, weasels, and especially raptors. So these are all their long list of predators, which ironically is a good thing because all these animals don't have to starve. It's kind of like the American robin is doing a good thing by being a prey, which is sad. It's the circle of life. So, lastly, before we end, we do have some interesting fun facts about the American robin. So, number 1, the American robin is the state bird of Connecticut, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Fact number 2, American robins have the ability to hunt by hearing and can find earthworms underground by simply using their listening skills. The bird typically will take several short hops and then cock its head left, right, or forward to detect the movement of its prey. We kind of mentioned this fact before, so it is true. These birds can hear worms. Very interesting. Number 3, in urban areas, American robins often gather in numbers soon after lawns are mowed or where sprinklers are in use. That's so adorable. These are areas where they like to forage, which makes sense because that's when the earthworms come out. Earthworms usually come out when water is present and the soil is moist, like right after rain or right after sprinklers go off, and these American robins forage during that time. Another fact is that American robins sing when storms approach, and again when storms have passed. So these American robins can actually sense the dropping barometric pressure through specialized sensors in their ears and skulls, which triggers an instinctual response to reinforce territory, attract mates, or warn flock mates before sheltering. This pre-storm singing is often louder and more frantic than usual, serving as a final burst of communication and energy before the storm forces them into silence. So that's a pretty ominous fact right there. Basically, these American robins can sense a storm, which is very cool, and a lot of animals, believe it or not, can sense storms better than humans because they have those kind of senses. And these American robins kind of sing very loud before a storm. So if you ever see American robins, in flocks singing really loud, a storm might be brewing. So that's a good thing to know even for us. So that brings us to the end of this early bird episode. I hope you enjoyed learning about the American robin. Tune into my episode next week when we will be chatting about another cool bird. And don't forget to follow this podcast and social media. If you would like to message me on Instagram, the username is early_bird_weekly_podcast. Or if you'd like to send me an email, you can send it to earlybirdweeklypodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to ask any questions and give any kind of feedback. I'm open to any suggestions for future episodes as well. And if you like this episode, you can share this with your family and friends. The American robin truly is a very interesting bird, It's very common, but common birds usually do have interesting facts that sometimes we overlook. So I'm very glad that you guys got to learn about this bird with me, and I can't wait for the next episode. So, with that note, goodbye, have a great day.